terrifying creature stalks 3 remote communities in Russia's Far East, encircled by an ice environment. A gigantic and elusive Siberian tiger kills villager after villager one by one. Are you already immersed in the story? Consider subscribing quickly to help us out. In the east of Russia lies Chakapi. This broad peninsula extends for more than 770 miles and has a surface area of more than 100,000 square miles. Although often deadly, this enormous volcanic peninsula is wonderfully gorgeous. In Kamchatka, the winters are harsh and protracted, with persistently chilly and snowy conditions. The lowest possible temperature is -30 degrees Celsius, or -20 degrees Fahrenheit. The people of Kamchatka were fighting against more than just the weather in the 1920s. There were other deadly threats. Another murderer was still at large. A Siberian tiger that may weigh up to 800 pounds was scavenging among the communities on the coastline. He was removing people one by one. The number of fatalities started to rise one by one. A young man from the village of Uchi was the tiger's first victim. One afternoon, he was cutting wood in the forest near the freezing tundra. About 2 kilometers distant, the tiger was drawn to the sound of the falling trees. The tiger got closer with each axe strike. It was positioned with care. Paw left behind large footprints. The tiger moved stealthily through the forest until it could see the foresters, its white underbelly brushing the reflective ground. A direct line of vision the moment the tiger focused its attention on its prey. The young man's demise was already predetermined. The tiger charged at him after a couple more axe blows. The young man saw something orange and black from the corner of his eye. He quickly turned to find a massive tiger charging straight at him, pushing him to the ground and knocking the air out of his lungs. He attempted to fight back, but the animal's size kept him pinned to the ice. The bite then manifested. The man's windpipe was crushed as the tiger curled its fangs around his neck. In the snow, the man is still. The man's body was dragged into the woods by the tiger, who later dined on him at its convenience. The ice tundra and surrounding trees went utterly dark as the orange glow of the sun's final life receded toward the horizon. By torchlight, they noticed a path that was a blood trail. It was cautiously navigating through the forest. Less than 200 yards later, they followed it into the trees. They located their slain companion. It is evident that a tiger had attacked him and killed him. This was only the start. 3 communities on the Kamchatka Peninsula had repeated tiger attacks throughout the following few months. Villagers of all ages, both young and elderly, were brutally attacked by the tiger yards from their homes. People left to work in the fields and were never heard from again. That isn't very comforting. More than 15 people died during the first winter, from October 1923 to April 1924. More bodies were found as spring arrived and the fields of snow and ice thawed. Each of them displayed telltale indications of a tiger assault. Bloodied and mutilated, they were dispersed across the ice plains like trash. There were no further indications of tiger assaults as the ground warmed up. People started to exhale in relief. Farmers managed their fields without, and kids could play outside once more. The tiger appeared to have gone on. Perhaps it had passed away or discovered another territory. People attempted to put that terrible winter behind them and felt like they could breathe again after whatever had happened to it. The story was not over, though. The brutal winter returned to the Kamchatka Peninsula near the end of 1924. Again, the tiger attacked. The mysterious beast was brave this time. It was bold. Not only did it kill anyone who dared venture outside, but terrifyingly, it also started breaking into people's homes like the devil himself. The tiger dragged people from their beds when they slept off in the middle of the night. The entire village could frequently be heard screaming. They were permitted to utilize an airplane to aid their aerial tiger spotting efforts. A sizable tiger was eventually located and captured. The army took pictures before the striped cat to commemorate the slaughter. It was a large animal that measured 10 feet in length and 330 pounds in weight. The local people praised them as heroes, but as the local hunters examined the dead tiger more closely, they felt a shudder run down their spines and weren't persuaded. Although a giant tiger, this one didn't have nearly large enough paws. The killer's paw prints, about 8 inches long, had previously been noticed by neighborhood hunters. Winter was approaching the settlements, and this tiger didn't measure up. The attack started up again at the end of 1925. The locals had been duped into believing they were secure. The military had offered them optimism, but those hopes had been destroyed immediately. They started to think this nightmare would never end. They began to believe that the tiger was the devil. It eluded arrest for the remainder of the winter and claimed many more innocent lives. 19, 23, 24, and 25 saw the deaths of almost 100 persons. Most bodies were discovered days or weeks later, while some disappeared without a trace. Since then and across the generations, people have continued to discuss the winters. No one knows what happened to the tiger when the devil came to town. Maybe it moved on to look for new hunting. Thanks everyone for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please let us know by subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. See you in the next story.